This is from The Deathmatch, Chapter 6. Geoffrey Mann, the author, for you. The crash jolted the car to the edge of the canyon. Greg tramped on the brake, twisted the steering wheel and glanced in the rear-view mirror in one instinctive movement. The big black van filled the mirror. He had a quick glimpse of its driver's yellow hair before the second blow threw him forward again against the seat belt. Shifting down to first, he accelerated hard. The Corvette leaped forward, spraying gravel chips, racing along the edge. Glancing in the mirror, Greg saw the van behind start to pull out. His first impression of a runway with its brakes gone died. This man was trying to pull alongside and deliberately force him over the edge. Rapidly clutching, he rammed the hearse shift into second. With the tachometer edging over the red 50, he swung into the center of the road. At 90, the van was still behind, tied like a tin can to his tail. Changing down, he hurtled into the next bend. A car appeared directly in front, climbing in the opposite direction. Swerving across the wrong side of the road, it passed him in a blur of frantic horn-blowing, shrieking rubber. He took the next bend in a smoking four-wheel drift, leaving the van 50 yards behind, and decided to take the next side road and lose it. The turn-off appeared ahead, a deep cut through the red earth. Braking hard and shifting down, he swung into it, rear wheels fishtailing. He fought dangerously as a car came to a stop, watching the road behind in the mirror. The van flashed past. Greg checked his watch. He had only had 40 minutes left to get there. He'd wait 3 minutes, give that maniac a chance to get lost. Taking out a cigarette, he almost lit it, then, with a sigh, settled back in the seat, chewing the filter and watching the mirror. The van turned into the road behind him. Ramming the car into the first gear, he floored the gas pedal. The rear wheels spun, leaving yard-long rubber slicks as the excess power poured into them. What was his next move? Where did the road go? The canyon was laced with them. He glanced in the mirror as a car rocketed forward. He caught a brief glimpse of the van before it disappeared behind him in a cloud of red dust. The road ended abruptly in a spill of rocks. Braking almost to a stop, he twisted the steering wheel and accelerated. The rear end of the Corvette spun around in a cloud of dust, facing up the road again. Sitting back, he let his hands rest lightly on the wheel, quickly reviewing the situation. It was not good. That yellow-haired driver was after him, no doubt about that now. He looked out the windows. A 300-foot drop-off to the right, a sheer, burnt-off cliff to the left, rocks behind, and a killer in front. There was only one way. Charge it. This time he had the advantage of surprise. The van had to either pull over and let him pass, or they'd go together. It appeared around the bend ahead, rolling slowly towards him. Sliding the gear in, Greg released the clutch. He was going over 100 when they met. It would make the man's decision easy. The road noise and flint chips drowned out the howl of the engine as he ran it up through maximum revs in each gear. The car bucked, rocking violently on the uneven road. 90, 100, 105. Greg reached forward and flicked on the headlights, keeping the gas pedal pressed to the floor. One way or another, it would be over in seconds. The van ballooned up yards away, still in the center of the road. He saw the driver's face, mouth open, eyes staring in disbelief. It was the end for both of them. He wasn't going to get his chance after all. Dust plumed out behind the van at the last second, its driver desperately spinning the steering wheel. He edged in closer to the overhang. Hit a rock now, anything, and they'd both flip and burn. The loud bang was followed by a ripping, shrieking sound, and he was through. The road opened, empty out in front. The car was a mess, caked with street dirt. Long gouges had been cut into the metal on both sides. The rear end and one side was crushed in. Metal and fiberglass brutally ripped and peeled away. Silently, Greg walked around examining the damage before reaching in for his dive bag. "What happened?" Barry Winkler's called in from the front door. Gripping his dive bag, Greg walked towards him up the stairs. "What happened?" Winkler repeated, looking from him to the car. "Sorry I'm late. Some nut tried to run me off the Topeka Canyon a couple of times." Winkler eyed him curiously. "Still feel like going through with it?" "Of course. Why not?" "After that?" "What of it?" Greg replied, raising an eyebrow, staring into his face. "I'm fine. Just warm me up for the fight." "He's arrived," Winkler said to Aster Sutherland from the door. "He had trouble on the way. Somebody tried to run him off the canyon." Aster felt an immediate, exquisite surge of excitement. It had started already. Crossing the room, she pulled the drapes and stared for a long moment at the wrecked car. "Find out and report back to me," Aster said, dismissing Winkler with a nod.